Wayne Reads is back to read Lord Brocktree. Let's jump in. Book 1, Chapter 2. In the northeast reaches of Mossflower Wood, a traveler had walked straight into trouble. Dig Slopmoth and his brood number 13 in all, nasty, vicious stoats, every one of them. Drig's family loved to cheat, lie, steal, bully, or murder, even among themselves. Their chief hatred was honest toil. The only work they had done that day was to lie in wait for unsuspecting wayfarer, a lanky, carefree young hare known to her friends as Dottie. She was reckless and impatient, and not over fond of studying. But what she lacked in scholarly achievement, she made up for in impudence, courage, and sharp wit. The realization that she was surrounded by Drig and his band of robbers did not seem to upset her unduly. She nodded at them. "Good morning, chaps and chapesses. Not a bad old sort of day for the time of season, what?" A snigger arose from the stoats. "Look at what we got, Drig. A posh rabbit." Dottie rounded at the speaker, a fat, frowsy female. "Specially incorrect, don't you know, my old stotus? I'm a hare, not a rabbit. Now say it correctly after me. Look at what we got here, Drig. A posh hare." Drig stepped between them, pointing to the traveling haversack, which resembled an outsized handbag swinging from the young hare's paws. "Empty your bag on the ground." Dottie smiled sweetly at him. "Oh, I'd rather not, sir. It'd take me half a day to get the jolly old thing repacked, what?" A large, dim-looking stoat, Drig's eldest son, pushed forward. "Then tell us what you got in your bag, and don't say it wasn't nothing." Dottie clucked reprovingly. "Mean don't say it isn't anything, dearie me. I'll bet you never attended woodland school." The big stoat snarled, pawing at a long dagger he wore hanging from his belt. "Just show us what's in the bag, rabbit." The haremaid wagged her paw at him. "There you go again with the rabbit air. Did I call you a stoat?" "Of course I didn't. It's obvious to any beast that you're oversized toad." "Oh, sorry, the bag. Here, take it." Dottie swung the bag hard. There was a cracking noise as it struck the stoat's head, laying him flat out. She whirled upon the others, a perilous glint in her eyes. I can forgive bad grammar and insults, but that was a good flagon of old cider, a gift from Aunt Blanche, and that oaf has just broken in over his head. Unforgivable. Ah well, there's only one thing left I got for you lot. Eulia! The time-honored war cry of fighting hares rang out as Dottie hurled herself on the would-be robbers, laying about her bag left and right, leaping and kicking about fiercely with powerful, rangy footpaws. From the shelter of a broad beach nearby, another traveler watched the melee. He clucked quietly. The young hare seemed to be doing fine, despite the number of vermin she was facing. Dottie had accounted for 3 more stoats and was in the process of depriving the fat, frowsy one of her remaining snaggle teeth when Drig caught her by her footpaws in a noose. The haremaid was yanked off balance and floored as 3 stoats leapt upon her back. Drig Slopmoth drew a sharp, double-edged dagger and circled his fallen victim, calling to those who ever piled on her, "Get her on her back and stretch her neck so I can get a stab in. Hold her still, you blithering oafs." From his position behind the beech tree, the watcher decided it was time to step in and help the beleaguered hare. Drig screeched in terror as he was lifted into the air and used the swatter to knock off the other stoats willy-nilly. His flailing paws swept vermin left and right. The wind was knocked from him as his stomach connected with the back of another. The stars exploded from his head when his head cracked against the jaw of a lofty young stoat. Dottie scrambled upward, swinging her bag, but there was no beast to strike. Vermin lay everywhere, those still conscious moaning aloud, nursing their injuries. Drig still hung, half-dazed, from the paw of the mighty male badger. The huge creature looked like one who would brook no nonsense from any beast. From his wild dark eyes and rough, bearded muzzle, to the homespun tunic and traveler's cloak he wore, an immense double-hilted battle sword hung from his back. He tossed Drig aside like a discarded wash rag and nodded sternly at the haremaid. "I've been watching you a while from behind Young Beach. For a youngin', you were doing really well, until they came at you from behind. Remember, if there's more than one enemy, always get your back against a rock or a tree." The haremaid kicked over a stoat who was struggling to rise. She addressed the badger none too cordially. "Well, you got all the bally nerve, I must say, telling a gal how to conduct her battles, while you sit hidden in a blinking sidelines watching. Are you sure it wasn't too much bother, having to jolly well get off your bottom and help me out?" The badger shrugged noncommittally. "As I said, I thought you were doing quite well. If I thought you could have taken them single-pawed, I wouldn't have stepped in." Dottie was subject to instant mood changes. She smiled, scratching ruefully at her long ears. Suppose you're right. I lost my head a little bit when the flagon of rare old cider got broken. Confounded stoat, must have a noggin like a boulder. Never lose one's temper. That's what old Mum used to say." The badger nodded nodded sadly, carelessly stepping on Drake's tail as the stoat tried to crawl away. She sounds like a wise creature to me. Pity you never heeded her words. By the way, my name's Lord Brocktree. The hairmaid clapped a paw to her tree. Oh my Gideon, I do apologize for speaking to you in that sharp manner, sir. I didn't know you were a badger lord. A ghost of a smile hovered around Brocktree's stern face. No matter. You were upset at the time. What do they call you, miss? The hairmaid did an elegant leg, half bow, half curtsy. Dorothy Duckfronting Dilworthy. At your service, sir. But I'm generally called Dottie. Though my pa always said, you could call me anything as long as you didn't catch me late for lunch. Excuse me a tick. The fat frowsy female stoat had risen and was preparing to make a run for it. Dottie re-flattened her with a well-paced swing of her bag. She gestured at Drig's band. What do we do with this cover your commergence, my lord? With a fearsome swish, Lord Brocktree drew his great battle sword. It was almost half as tall as himself, with a blade as wide as 2 dock leaves. A moan of fear rose from among the stoats. Holding it, single-pawed between the battle-hilt, Brocktree swung the huge weapon, making the air thrum like a swan taking off to flight. Whump! He buried the point deep in earth, and his voice dropped to a dangerous growl as he addressed the cowed vermin. I save my sword for proper combat with real warriors. Scum such as you would only dishonor its blade. But I will make exceptions if any of you are still within my sight by the time I've counted to 3. Remember, I always keep my word. 1. Dottie was bowled over in the mad scramble. Before the Badger Lord had counted further, Drig Slopmoth and his wicked brood had vanished. Dottie chuckled. By gum, that's what I should have done in the first place. Pity I didn't have a sword like this one. What a smashnal destroyer it is. She tugged with both paws, unearthing the blade, then fell over backwards under its colossal weight. Flamin' Sunseed, sir. How do you handle a weapon like this? For answer, the Badger picked up his sword, twirled it in a warrior salute, and stowed it, one paw across his broad back, nodding seriously at her. Strength, I suppose. They say I was born even stronger than my father, Lord Stonepaw. Dottie flopped her ears understandingly. I know what you mean. Beauty's always been my curse. They say I was born more beautiful than the jolly old setting sun at solstice. That's probably what made those blinking stoats attack me. Some beats take beauty as a sign of weakness, you know? I say, did you mention old Lord Stonepaw was your potter? Brocktree retrieved his traveling bag from behind the beach and shouldered it. I did. Why? Do you know of him? Dottie pulled a face and scuffed the dust with her footpaw. I should barely say so. I've been sent to his blinking old mountain, Scallow, what you call it? Salamandastron. Aye, that's the place. My Aunt Blench is the chief cook there. I believe she's a right old battle axe. Lord Brocktree sensed a story behind Dottie's remarks. Seating himself with his back against the beech tree, he unpacked his provisions from his bulky haversack. Sit down here by me, Dottie. Do you like oatcakes, cheese, and elderflower cordial? The hairmaid plonked herself willingly on the grass. Rather, I haven't eaten for absolute ages. Almost an hour, I think. That cheese looks good. Lord Brocktree could not help but smile at the hungry youngster. Well, there's plenty for 2, miss. Help yourself, and we'll exchange our stories. You first. Tell me why you are being sent to Salamandastron. Always remember to like and subscribe for more amazing readings.